We live. Speak up just a little bit, homie.
Alright, hold on. Let me take you off speakerphone. Hold on for 1 second.
Shit, that speaker sounded pretty good.
Oh, okay. Sound good to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For sure. Yeah.
What's going on with you, my nigga? Why don't you introduce yourself to my listeners? You know, the world famous DOC. Go ahead, my nigga. Give me a rundown.
Man, shit. What up, though, everybody? This your boy DOC. You know, run the channel or the account or whatever you want to call it. Hicks TV. You know, from Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. Pretty much that's, you know, for the internet, that's pretty much all I can really say. What's been going on with it, though?
You established yourself as one of my personal favorites online, so that's why I invited you into my forum. I want to know a few things about yourself and your company. Why don't you tell me how long you've been, you know, doing online branding?
I think the very first video I ever did was like 2000, either 13 or 2014. Whatever year the situation happened with Marv and Reno, you know what I'm saying, back in the day in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I remember that.
Year, yeah, that's the first year, like, I put up the first video. Like, I wasn't even really doing the blog and stuff. I just had a Twitter account because I was on probation, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up just getting on social media, had a Twitter account, and was just posting music that I liked on it, you know what I'm saying? Because at that time in my mind, I'm seeing different people. One of my cousins, his kid was like doing little gaming type shit. So, you know, kind of heard that you could quote unquote make some money off of YouTube. So then I started seeing people got on Twitter, seeing people having accounts, charging people for promo, this and that, whatever. And I'm trying to stay out the way. So I'm like, maybe I can start, you know, do something on Twitter. So I'm posting like music on my Twitter, and Mozzy Marv reached out to me because he thought I was a blogger. And he was like, hey, you want to do an interview? And I was already hip to him because of one of my homeboys, you know, rest in peace, Endo from Sacramento, and put me up on a whole bunch of people's music and shit from out there. So I'm like, for sure, let's do it. So it forced me, it made me have to make an email and make a YouTube channel to be able to do the interview. Then I probably stopped for a long time after that, but probably 2013, 2014.
That's an incredible story, man. That's incredible. That was miraculous. I mean, I don't think nothing is coincidental or accidental, my nigga. Like, that was crazy. Mess came and threw you in the game.
It was just one of those just out of nowhere. I'm not gonna say I believe in a higher power. I don't consider myself a religious person, but I do believe I'm a spiritual person and believe in energy. And the world just do things for a reason. You know what I mean? Even if it's good or bad, I feel like if myself, yourself, or anybody else pay attention to the signs, it'll lead you in the right direction. You know, you may have to hit a few speed bumps and hurdles, you know what I'm saying, to find out why. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy how all that, you know, really happened.
Damn, man. You you got one of the more cleaner, polished edits, my nigga, out of everybody that's doing this shit. As time progressed, did you start, you know, experimenting with software? Me, myself, I started to get good fucking around with MySpace in terms of, you know, pasting and cutting and learning concepts, computer concepts and shit. And I've been to college. But, yeah, online, MySpace. I found this shit through MySpace, basically, and shit.
Yeah. It's crazy, like, it's all, to me, it's really just, it's been trial and error, like, this whole time. Like, when I did that Mozzy Marv interview, it was one picture on the screen for, like, that whole 45 minutes. Whatever numbers it did, and, you know, I didn't even connect what I needed to connect to it to get no, you know, cheese or whatever from it. Whenever I came back to do it, I'm going to answer your question, you know what I'm saying? All the videos I was doing during that time, it was one picture on it. And I just remember a random ass nigga said to me one day in the comments, he was like, bro, he was like, man, I fuck with your commentary, but your visuals trash. You know? And I could have snapped back at, you know, whatever, but when it just made me think. I was like, okay, maybe I need to step my shit up. I didn't know nothing from nothing. I'm like, okay, what can I do next? So it started making me, like, YouTube search different bloggers or different channels to just see what could be done, and then start doing Googling. Because I've been, you know what I'm saying, I went down to Alabama A&M myself But that was like more for like English education and all that stuff before I dropped out. But it's just been trial and error since then. And if I run across certain people like yourself or other people in the game that's willing to share information, you know, then I'll just try to test little stuff out here and there to see what works best for what I'm doing.
Word. So that's okay. So I always wondered what was your you being from Detroit, what was your link to the Bay? And ironically, Detroit and the Bay has some type of link. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was the messy Marv situation.
Well, you know, I'll say as far as music wise, you know, the dude that I don't do it on every video, you know what I mean? Like if it's a Sacramento-based video, more than likely I'll put up a picture of my homeboy's name was Allende Samadi, you know, rest in peace to him. You know, I met him down south, and right, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know, you know, because I know we on live and all that stuff. I met old boy down south. He was from California, and yeah, you know, even though Sacramento not technically the Bay, but I just noticed, like, I would meet people from quote-unquote L.A. and the Bay. It seemed like the Bay and Detroit niggas just got along. We vibe different, you know, like, was on the same type of time as far as buying and towards hustling or whatever the case may be. So when I, you know, plugged with old boy, you know, whatever was going on during that time, that's when he started introducing me to, you know, at that time, most people would just know about the E40s, the Too Shorts, the Spice Ones, but you wouldn't know about the Live Wires, the Hustlers, and everybody else that was rapping, like the underground cast was kind of doing, that's like the ones that shining out. He was putting me up on game with them then, and then, you know, sometimes we would have to go back and forth out there, and, you know, it just, you know, just soaking up shit, seeing how shit really was. So that ended up being more the attachment. I feel like then out of all states of people that I've met, I feel like Philly cats be like, and Get Fresh, y'all, you know, I ain't gonna say like more super gutter, you know what I'm saying? Like Harlem dudes be on the Get Fresh shit, you know, Detroit cats on the streets, you know, be on the Get Fresh and the hustling shit. So it's like a couple of states I feel like we vibe with mentally, niggas on the same page about, you know, about their hustle and trying to get something going.
Word. Damn. So what's out of all of the interviews you've done thus far, what's been in your opinion your racehorse? What's your signature? What's your home run? What's one of your outstanding accomplishments with the brand?
To me, the one that surprised me the most, like, it didn't do, like, tons of numbers. Like, it was a little bit surprising to get, like, T.K. Kirkland, but come to find, you know, T.K. Kirkland, the comedian dude, like, he just super cool, down to earth. So that was, like, you know, a notch under my belt. I was like, okay, that kind of swerved me from out of the hip-hop lane, even though I consider, like, a hip-hop comedian, and he got so much ties to the hip-hop game. But I'd say, like, X-Rated, just for the simple fact of really, like, catching him right after coming home from
fresh out.
6 years.
Yeah, you know that was big.
Like that was, that was, I kind of say that's one out of all of them. And it ain't no shade to the rest of them. They all got their pros and cons, but it was just to catch him after doing 26 years and the mindset that he came home with, and the, you know, and the message and everything that he was talking. I left out of it learning something, or you know.
You was one of the first guys to get him too, right?
Go to jail and can come back home the same or worse, because they just get in jail and get polished up more on what they was doing in the street and come home, and they might meet people in there to help them when they get out to keep, you know, and it seemed like he totally flipped it around, because I asked him about the Mozzy stuff, and he had nothing but positive to say, and I feel like people need that, you know, because since there's a big disconnect between the quote-unquote OGs and the young Gs, you need someone that's going, regardless if they went to jail or not, that's just going to find a way out of a negative situation and say something positive about it. You know what I'm saying? It may just help another soul out here think and move different.
Right. You was like one of the first, name credible media platforms to catch up with him, right?
I believe it was another place. I'm not sure.
They weren't as relevant as you, though.
Yeah. I talking about, they on the West Coast, this place, you know what I'm saying, I believe they relevant, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
just kind of touching off some, catching all four corners and got more of a fan base. Like, just even though a lot of my content do come from that way, but like when I look at my analytics, my viewership come from like all over. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think if I think me and another platform probably caught them like the same week or something like that.
Word. So what's shaking in Detroit, man? Who the hottest nigga in Detroit right now? Is it Payroll or what?
Of course, Payroll always gonna be. I feel like he's cemented in the game. He come from a lineage prior to even where he at right now. You know what I'm saying? You got the Payrolls, the PZs. Of course, Icewear eventually came back home. I've been listening to that Clarity 6 like crazy. He doing his thing. It's good to see. He inked that Motown deal. You got Sada Babies, of course the Band Games and Lonnie's. I'm talking about, it's so many cats. It kind of, to me, depends on the type of individual you are, of what type of music you're going to listen to, of who you may put.
Word. Word.
Like if you be on someone that's kind of semi-drill and shoot them up, but you may go to like the Snap Dogs and Smoke Campuchinos and different individuals like that. And then I'm not old, but I'm a little bit older. So, me personally, when I do just rock out with Detroit music, it's probably the top, the Payroll, PZs, Icewear, and, Sada, FMB, DZ, you know what I mean? Cats like that.
Right. Who, has anybody, throughout, your coverage, has anybody disrespected or dissed anybody and put you in a situation? Have you been put in any situations since you've been doing this?
Yeah. I wouldn't say physically. It would be.
I can relate. That's why I asked you like that. I done been in a few situations.
To me, it'd be more or less like, I already know kind of approaching these artists before even having the first conversation with them, before doing an interview or anything like that. I would just say the average rapper kind of look at all bloggers up under the shadow of this certain individual. So they think we all the same.
Yeah.
And they will come off a certain type of way until they really get to sit down and chop it up with you and see where your mind is at. And they're like, okay, because they can come into the interview feeling like you trying to attack them or you trying to make them look bad or anything like that, when that's not really your case. You know what I mean? That ain't what you own, because they just automatically think, since the person that the world deem is the number one person, for good or bad, that kind of puts a great cloud over other people that's doing this in certain ways. But it ain't never been nothing physical. You just have like certain conversations and stuff that go on behind the scenes. A lot of stuff that I really see would be like a lot of artists. I ain't gonna say a lot. Some artists don't really want to stand on the things that they say. It has become a trend. To just point the finger at the platform. You know what I'm saying? So I can look at that. I can take myself out of my shoes and put myself in the viewer's shoes, you know what I mean, and see where people can come from, depending on how the quote-unquote platform is handling things. Then, of course, I got to put myself in the platform's shoes. It's sometimes it's artists that reach out that say, hey, I know you probably got your questions or whatever that you wanted, but I just want to make sure we talk about A, B, C, D. And that A, B, C, D may consist of 2 or 3 other people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So then when you do the interview, it once it's published and put out to the public, it looks as if, oh, you asked that question to start that shit. You know what I mean? They wanted to talk about that.
Right.
I passed, but no, they be wanting to talk about that shit, but they use it. Some people use it as an scapegoat. Then once them phone calls start happening behind the scenes, or someone want to press them, they can be like, oh no, it's the platform fault. They ask me the question. It be more shit. It be shit like that. Sometimes.
He said they get to listen to it. They say, oh, you asked them about that shit, huh?
Right. Yeah. They be like, dog. I don't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, wanting to have integrity, and you want to have some form of a relationship, not on a buddy friend type tip. You want people to feel comfortable where whatever's behind the scenes stay behind the scenes, and whatever supposed to go out to the public go out to the public. But when situations like that happen, you have to protect your brand at the end of the day. So sometimes it'll force you to, you may have to go dig out, dig up, like, okay, let me go ahead and screenshot this conversation and show people, like, I didn't just ask them that for no reason. This person wanted to talk about that. They made a point that they wanted to. So don't try to use me as an excuse, because now they don't want to stand behind what they say, but...
Right. Has anybody asked you to pull anything down? I don't pull shit down. I got a story about why I don't, but yeah, I don't. Has anybody ever been on some, yo, can you take this down, or you know what I mean?
Besides whatever happened with the Yuck Mouth situation, that wasn't even a pull it down type situation. He asked me to not put up the rest of something, but to answer your question, it was one time a person reached out, and I only got a few rules to if we in that type of situation. If you incriminating yourself, or you incriminating someone else, or possibly, like your life can be in danger, and you can prove that, I will take it down, or I will edit it out the interview. I give everybody that option prior to interviewing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's only been one time a person doubled back, and it was maybe like 8, 9, 10 months later. It was some indictments hitting in their area, and it was just some stuff going on in that video with some people, and they just didn't want to show themselves with a particular...
Oh, yeah, I understand that. Yeah,
so I went ahead and took it down for him. But other than that, just the kind of the recent situation with Yuck Mouth, and it wasn't on, take the video down. It was, he didn't want me to put the rest of it up, but he didn't give me a reason when I asked. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I can't just, and me and him talk, so it ain't no beef or nothing like that. And I won't go into details because we both agree that, we won't put the personal, the
nah, he easy to deal with. He easy
on both ends.
Right.
That's why they look at you and think that you're like these other motherfuckers, when it can be some open communication, because we all men at the end of the day, regardless if a person knows how to record their voice and edit a video, that don't make you no less than a man than anybody else. You can still pick up and do anything else everybody else do. And sometimes people try to use that as leverage because a person do this to think that you're a certain type of way, or it may feel like it can't be no communication there. And I try to make everybody feel comfortable. Well, like, just let me know it. But if it falls in those categories, yeah, I'll edit it out or take it down. Cause I don't want the brand to be looked at like, damn, 6, 7, 8 niggas then got indicted after going on this platform. We ain't, trying to go down that road.
Is that one mob situation over with since Mozzy signed Messy Marv and shit like that? Like, did that affect that one mob situation? 'Cause I was feeling that shit.
Well, as of right now, it seems as if, just going off the capture, and we don't, certain things that's presented to the public, it's being presented to kind of taunt other individuals. It's seeming as if like TML has inserted himself, but I feel like until an actual project come out, maybe with like Philthy, TML, Joe Blow, AJ, and all of them under the one mob camp, I don't consider. You really just don't know 100% what's going on, because from people that I know out there, they like One Mob is actually, besides the rap group thing, One Mob is actually a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like a real thing out there, like some real street. I wouldn't necessarily call it a gang, but you know what I'm saying? It's a real street faction out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't know the connections and between who and who and all that stuff, but as of right now, it's not seeming like I definitely know it's not no communication between, unfortunately, between Mozzy and Philthy. And it ain't been no communication between them for a nice little minute.
Damn, man, I like that they got that song Under Pressure with all of them niggas. With like, yeah.
Was that the one where the first dude rapping, he like in the alley, leaning on the front of a car?
Yep, that's it.
Yep, that shit go hard.
Yeah. I fuck with that whole little movement. What I wanted to ask you was one of the deep personal questions that I wanted to ask you is, who do you listen to, or who do you who do you tune into when you online searching and shit?
besides, I'll say I tap in with your platform, the Joe Button, like to kind of just see what's going on. It's like, cause you come with original content, so it's like for the people that don't, and it ain't necessarily a diss to them or whatever. For the people that don't, it really ain't no reason to watch them. They can just do they thing with their money and stuff like that. But see, what end up happening is, if I watch a ton of different bloggers, it's going to indirectly alter what my thought process or what my opinion is on something. So it's like I'll be wanting to make sure I have my own original thoughts towards a topic. So, but like you put up original content, so it's like, oh, I can tap in because I didn't know this was going on, or you give it some history about something. It's a Pop a Lot dude, the Al Prophet, you know what I'm saying? I tap in with him.
Yeah.
If we talk about just like kind of blogger, content creator space, then everything else that probably everybody else watch, you know what I mean? If something going on the Breakfast Club and stuff like that, but that's pretty much it. Because you know how this shit is, like the bigger and bigger things time get real. You don't have a lot of time, you know what I mean, to really just sit down and just check out a lot of other stuff, because you got some editing to do, you got an interview to do, or, you know what I'm saying, there's so much you end up having to do, then you want to keep your social medias active, you know what I mean? So that's probably about all, for real, that I really tap into, like, off the top of my mind. My homie Crispy, we kind of slowed down, but that's really about it.
How's the Instagram shit treating you and shit? That's an element that we definitely have to put into use as far as securing interviews and contacts and shit like that. I be working my ass off over there, man. How that shit going for you?
It's cool. It's like I'm trying to figure it out, since everything now has its own algorithms and all that. You know what I mean? And it's like it's a little bit easier to probably search and find out a little bit of how the YouTube algorithm works. And I haven't really sat down and like searched to see how that Instagram algorithm works. But like slowly but surely, it's it's doing its thing. It could be fun. It's engaging. Of course, just for the main business factor of being able to communicate with people. You know what I'm saying? Is the bottom line for me. You know what I'm saying? To either keep in contact with some people or put together interviews and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's my main thing, because before the YouTube started, like I said, I had that Twitter for that reason, because I was on probation and I was trying to find a way, and then I stopped once the YouTube got to going. I started seeing hella people saying to me like, bro, you got to get on social media if you want to expand. You gotta have a presence and more than just YouTube. I didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's why for a long ass time I wasn't even really showing my face. I really just don't come from that, you know what I'm saying, to just be that person. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I wasn't like, you probably wouldn't even see 20 pictures, and my dad's 65, you probably wouldn't see 20 pictures of him, like of a straight face shot of him on a picture. He just, you know what I mean, just was raised like that, not to really take pictures, not to be in front of the camera, to be more behind the camera. And that's my ultimate objective, was really wanting to just get the platform to a point where I can fall back and implement some other people to put them, if they got the right personality and got a good work ethic, to be in front of it and do everything else. And then I can just work on the sponsorships, this and that and everything else. But IG cool for what it is, but it's a hell of a tool. I feel like you get way more traffic than like Twitter to try to push people to your bio, to push them to whatever type of link you're going to, wherever you want to send them to.
Yeah. Instagram definitely is a lot more engaging, definitely, for whatever reason and shit. And everybody walking around with their phone in their hand. Why don't you, lastly, give me, share with us, some of your plans and aspirations for 2019, and you can drop out. I appreciate your time, my nigga. But yeah, 2019, what's next?
2019, one, and it ain't even really for me, is to get my girl to go ahead and finish up her last of her college stuff, you know what I mean? Because she in school, she basically like down there her last semester, so we want to get that straightened away since we got a kid together, make sure she's straight with that. as far as the brand, just keep growing. End up switching over to like visual interviews and stuff like that. Possibly it just up to sit down and see where all my weak points are at, and just step them up a little bit. You know what I mean? As far as that, and then as life just get help, stay healthy, get healthy, or whatever the case may be, just to be able to be alive to do what I need to do for my kids. You know what I mean? That's really about it.
So the whole time you've been doing this, you pretty much did all like podcast style interviews. You haven't actually pointed the camera yet.
No, it's only one, and I wasn't behind the camera. It was someone else that was behind the camera, and and I asked the questions. Basically like I just plugged with a cameraman,
right?
And they end up doing it. But I haven't really like been the one behind the camera and asking them the questions at the same time, doing none of that. Because majority of my interviews are OT. You know what I'm saying? They out of state. You know what I'm saying? So it's either but it ain't. It's a good thing to be able to fly around and do all that stuff, and that's what it's going to eventually end up having to go to do that if you want to get the visual when they come in town to do for shows and stuff like that. But the main one of the main things, and it kind of was just like a little what would you call it? It got inspired by my daughter because it was a couple of little doctor's appointments and different things because we haven't put her in daycare or nothing like that. And just remembering how like kids and stuff like that be in school and not having supplies and all that. That's why like with some of the merch that I was selling, a lot of the merch I was selling was like linked to they give a certain percentage away to a charity. But the thing about that is, you don't know how that money being utilized. And then being on a platform like this, everybody don't trust to just be, because I don't like asking people for shit. Like if they do it, they do it. I'd rather have a product to give to them if they gon' if they gon' send some money. I don't want them to just, I'm about to build a school in Africa, and then next thing you know, I'm riding around in a Porsche, you know what I'm saying, type shit. And they be like, this nigga just scammed us.
Right.
But that's something that's been on my mind. I don't know if it would happen in 2019 or not, but either find something that's directed either to people that's trying to go to college or something for like kids like in elementary school that I can directly know where the money is going to just start trying to give back. You know what I mean? I feel like that good. It's just good, and that good karma as black men to be able to put a smile on someone else's face and take the burden off of a parent out here that maybe don't have it. You know what I mean? To just do things like that. So that's something that I definitely want to try to get in order.
Okay, yeah, you got some very noble intentions, my nigga, and I hope you be able to achieve everything that you just shared with us, my nigga. Damn, that was incredible. I didn't expect that type of response, but yeah, I hope you inherit the room with that, my nigga. Straight up.
Go
ahead.
No, I appreciate that, because, it ain't like I just didn't had the super duper worst of life, you know what I'm saying? But it's been times where you just don't have things and stuff like that. And then especially like I got a daughter and having a kid, and I be going certain places, and you just see everybody just don't have parental skills, you know what I'm saying? Everybody not ready to have kids, and the kids shouldn't suffer because the parents are just either bad parents or maybe they situation, they may have lack of resources. Maybe they may be living in a city where the unemployment rate is 16-17%, and it's a few, 100,000 people, and everybody, you got 1,000 people trying to get the fry job at McDonald's, and they can't get no job. The kids still deserve to try to get that education, because that's the whole reason why I even went to school in the first place was for English education, because I feel like in the black community, sometimes the biggest problem that we have is just communicating with each other. A lot of shit that niggas be getting killed over and going to jail for sometimes to be stemming from just the lack of not being able to communicate what they want to say or vice versa. Because, when someone trying to say something to them, and unfortunately, me being a hard head and taking my mindset from the crib down to the school I was at, I end up fucking that shit up. But it's like I want to try to make sure, because I was kind of raised like to never, never to give up if you start something to finish it.
Right.
But I put myself in a situation where I wasn't able to finish school, so like I got to find another way to be able to still accomplish that similar type of goal.
Right.
Just do a whole nother angle
I'm
to
in the
be able to
same
still
boat.
give some game to the kids and help in some type of way. and or either the super small kids to get them straight, or right when if they in that spot. Because I don't know in 10, 15 years if people still gonna be how we grew up. And I don't know about your particular circumstances. It used to be like, oh, you gotta go to college to make it. Like, times have changed with technology.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You pick up a field and get you a little, find it out and master it. You can make a decent living doing something else. But if a person do want to hire, further their education, because it's been a big ass myth out there. You have a lot of people say this dumbass shit. Oh, man. Oh, if you went to college, oh, you must be rich. And your parents, do you not know? The poorer you are, the more loans they have. The more
money they get, yeah.
To go to school.
Yeah.
So it's really, not saying that ain't no excuse, but that's just been a myth to thinking, oh, I can't afford to go to college. There is still other ways to further your education. You just got to crack a book, you know what I'm saying? Use the thumbs to get off of social media and research, to get some funding. And sometimes it just takes for people to have that conversation, to have someone that's going to sit down in front of them that they feel like they can relate to give them that information.
Yeah.
And maybe they.
Yup. You dead on with that, my nigga. I appreciate you coming through, man, sharing some of your aspirations and plans, and as well as some of your top interviews that you done put out on Doc Hicks TV, my nigga. Appreciate your time. I really, really do. I hope we can do this again at some point as we journey through this online. We be battling these niggas, man. These niggas be jacking waves and shit like that.
Yeah. It get ugly. It can be. I never knew. I would have never thought from that very first day, like seeing what go on now, that is like, is that crazy doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, it really is a battle. You know what I mean? It really is a battle.
Yep. It ain't no rules. I don't know how long this shit gonna last, but we gotta make the most of it. Go ahead and give me a drop, homie. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Much love. Shout out to Gully TV. I appreciate everything. I appreciate the interview. Make sure if you ain't subscribed to Gully TV, make sure you subscribe to him. Holler at your boy, the DOC, on my channel. And we gonna make sure you double back at some point in time and bring you on the channel and do an interview as well.
No doubt, my nigga. That's that's my man, Doc Hicks TV, man. I appreciate your time, Doc. My nigga, we get up with you some other time, my nigga. And Happy New Year.
All right, Happy New Year to you and everybody that's listening.
Yep.
All right, peace.
Yep.
All right.
So Harlem, man. Harlem. I be in Harlem, man. The only thing moving, man. Keeping the game up. Yup. 40th. Harlem.